Hello, fabulous fempreneurship podcast listeners. We have a very interesting topic today, something we've never covered before. So it's all about real estate and how to sell your home without using a realtor. So the topic is DIY offer is a alternative real estate service that allows you to sell your home with the assistance of your lawyer, and that's it. And we're going to talk about the platform that our guest has developed. So our guest today is Connie Heinz. So welcome to our show, Connie.
Thank you so much, Elaine. My pleasure to be here.
Well, it's great to welcome you. We had a great chat before we did the recording here because I'm fascinated about this topic. So I know this isn't exactly business, but we'll sort of go into that, how you came up with the whole idea, and that might give entrepreneurs some ideas too. And some entrepreneurs in Ontario might be interested if they're, about to sell their own homes. So Connie, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I grew up on a small farm in southwestern Ontario. And if you think of whereabouts that might be, it is sort of between about an hour west of Kitchener-Waterloo, heading towards uh, Lake Huron, just north of Listowel. It was about a 15-minute drive from Listowel, Ontario, on a small farm. I am the youngest of seven, actually. Big family on a farm, so you can imagine on a farm, hard work. But fortunately, I am the youngest, so you could probably say I got probably the easiest
Yeah.
of all the tasks. My older siblings definitely got the worst parts of the deal. I did get picked on though, so I took my share. And so yeah, we definitely had to work hard on the farm. Ironically, out of the seven of us, I have a brother and a sister as well as that are in the entrepreneurial space. And they are both now sort of retired, but definitely the entrepreneurship mindset was very part of who we are. My dad was obviously understanding the hard work of being an entrepreneur, and that is sort of what has been grained in my blood. So
Fantastic. So let's get started here. What even gave you the idea of coming up with this platform to sell your own home, with the help of your lawyer?
so there is definitely a huge many steps along the way, a full journey, and it was not a clear path. If for any entrepreneur out there, you have to know that it is not a clear path.
No,
If I
there's
had
never
never
a
a clear
clear
path.
path.
I wish I had the light bulb moment and got this vision then, and it would have been so much easier, but I didn't. Um, about almost 10 years ago, actually, we had a house in Guelph, and we wanted to sell it. We knew we didn't really want to pay commission fees. I grew up, obviously, everything that my family does is DIY, like no one pays for anything. So it was in my blood to say, I don't want to pay commission fees. And so we sort of tried to get some realtors to come on in just to sort of look at the house to get an idea of what the value of the would be. We got some actually we got a very wide range of value, and it was actually about a $75,000 differences between the two. And we were like, that's a lot of money still. And we were even thinking of going even higher than what they were estimating. We spent about a month actually in getting the house ready. So we did massive prep. We replaced floors. I painted the whole upstairs, painted cabinets, did massive gardening and cleanup, and so really did a lot of good work and had the house staged. And then we decided to post it at the very high end of where we wanted. And I actually used, at that time, it was called Comfrey, which Comfrey is no longer around, but we were able to post it on MLS. And I did not know when I signed up that there was a 2-week waiting period to actually have the house posted on MLS. And actually it was actually the beginning of August, and the August long weekend was coming up, and I knew with a long weekend, I didn't want to waste that opportunity to have an open house. So as a last minute, I decided to throw an ad up on Kijiji for an open house on both Saturday and Sunday. And the second couple that came through the house actually put an offer in, and it was 6,000 below asking. And we went to our lawyers, and he went to his lawyer, we went to our lawyer, and we did everything through our lawyer, and we didn't pay a dime of commission fees in the end. He may have paid a little bit extra to his lawyer to actually do the paperwork, but we did not absorb that cost at all. And we had the whole deal done actually even before the end of August. So it was a very, very quick and easy process.
So that was what gave you the idea then that if you could do it, anybody could do it.
So that it was actually a few years later. I was actually out of work. And in my previous roles, I was actually in IT, more IT help desk, IT support. And one of the areas that I have really always excelled at in all of my IT roles is I always came up with innovative solutions. I would go into a job and automatically think, how could we automate this, innovate it, do something easier, streamline it? And so if I was out of work in between jobs, and it was one afternoon, I truly had the aha moment of, oh my goodness, this idea would be ideal to do something that you could help people save money and really make it easier.
So how long from the idea to the actual launch did it take? Because there's a lot of phases when you do a startup, right?
Absolutely. So so that was in 2015. So it has actually been almost 8 years.
Yeah, so a lot of testing, a lot of that kind of
So
stuff.
so actually the journey along the way that was not a clear path is I actually started it sort of trying to do I was trying to do a discount brokerage, a discount license brokerage with the for sale by owner option. And so for several years I was building that service. I had to bring on somebody to work with me because at that point I didn't have a real estate license. And unfortunately, that relationship actually went sour, and we had to go our separate ways. And that sort of forced me to look at the alternative solution or the alternative method, and sort of drop the licensing option. At that point, actually, I was already starting my real estate license. I got licensed. I took all the courses, got licensed in Ontario. It gave me all of the understanding and knowledge of the industry that I needed. But because I really see the future of the business going more as an unconventional, unlicensed service, I've actually let my license go and really looking to do sort of a service that is not available currently. So that's where I really see the vision of the business.
Well, I admire you for sticking with it from the very idea of selling your own home to going through that first phase and then pivoting to do a second phase, which is the one that you're in beta testing now. So,
Yes.
why are you on a mission to change the current real estate industry? You're putting a lot of people out of work.
So ironically, I do not want, you think I might want to eliminate the full traditional model. So the for sale by owner option currently is about 10% of the market.
Yeah.
And the traditional industry is 90%. And to give you a little bit of background and understanding on the current traditional model, the current organized model actually started in the mid 1800s, and that was actually the very first real estate brokerage in the States started in 1855. The first organized real estate association in the States was 1880. In Canada, it was actually in 1888 in the growing city of Vancouver. So organized real estate has been around for a very, very long time. They have adopted digital forms and that, but in living in a digital age, we're on the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution. And we live in a digital age when everything is done online. You can do banking, you can do booking your hotels, flights, gambling is the biggest thing that is now online. But people still are very reluctant to do an online real estate transaction. And I believe that it is because for their most valuable asset, they still want a person. They want a person that they already have a trust relationship with. And that's where our platform is bridging actually sort of the for sale by owner service and the traditional model, because we are bringing the service of doing a little bit of work to save a lot of equity, and you can rely on your lawyer to actually guide you through and make sure that everything that you're doing is protected and that you can go through the sale knowing that you can sleep soundly.
So explain how the platform works.
So there are three things. I'm going to quickly tell you three things, and then I'm going to explain each. So list, negotiate, and close. Three very high level things. So to list, you list the property on our website, and to list it, that includes your property description. You can add all your room measurements, you add all your pictures, as well as your own contact information. So this is where if a buyer wants to contact you, they contact you and not the realtor. So that is the listing part. Then the second part is negotiate. And that is a platform where buyers can submit an offer directly on your property to you. And as soon as an offer is submitted, you are notified by email that you have an offer. You can log into the secure platform and view the offer and negotiate and make any counter offers back to the buyer. You can actually you can negotiate multiple offers at the same time. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 offers, you can negotiate comfortably with all of them at the same time, until eventually you're going to be narrowing it down to that one offer is probably more favorable. And when all of the terms are accepted or worked through, either rejected, when everything is accepted, and then you want to close. And so the third part is when you've worked through all the terms, the platform actually emails out a term sheet to you and the buyer, as well as the lawyers, or if a realtor is involved, the realtor, who then take over to draft the actual final contract. And each contract is actually specific to the province or the state that you're in. So for Ontario, it is the agreement of purchase and sale, which is the legally binding contract that needs to be signed for a real estate transaction. And so either the realtor will draft the agreement of purchase and sale, or a lawyer can draft that agreement of purchase and sale and have it signed by the parties. And so once your lawyer comes on board, they will guide you through the last remaining steps. If there are any conditions on either a home inspection or a mortgage, whatever terms are still there, they will, you can still rely on the advice and guidance of your lawyer. The other thing is, something that a lot of homeowners may not know is realtors actually cannot provide you legal advice. They are not licensed to provide legal advice. And so only your lawyer can provide you legal advice. And so with our platform, we're actually sort of flipping the model, because we want you to go to your lawyer first so that you have legal advice and protection before you start all of this. And so you can truly know that you can go to sleep and sleep soundly, because you know you're protected with your lawyer.
Now, if you don't have a real estate lawyer because you never sold your house before, does your platform suggest ones for different areas of Ontario?
So we have actually also built out a directory, and the directory is it lists 80 different services, and any of these services actually vary for both the buyer and the seller, and it's any service that an individual may need to use in the process of either selling or buying a property. And so if you're looking for a real estate lawyer, you can actually go onto the directory and you can pull up your city and you can put in your search, and you can see a list of different real estate lawyers that you can either quickly review, check out their website, find their email or phone number, and quickly send off a few emails very easily.
So they're your go-to person if the terms
find someone
of
in your
the
area.
so they're your go-to person if, for example, there's some conditions in the offer that you don't understand, that the lawyer can explain that to you, because sometimes the realtors put all kinds of weird sort of contingencies and things in
Yes,
that
yes,
sometimes are just meant to confuse you.
possibly. The other thing that I have also heard of a lot of real estate lawyers know is that sometimes when they get the actual contract, and in the traditional model, it's already negotiated and accepted by the time they actually get that final contract. So at that point, the option to provide legal advice is sort of irrelevant, because it's already done deal. But that contract, that binding contract, is often sometimes full of errors that they actually have to clean up. So they often spend more time trying to clean up the errors, because it was often pushed through quite quickly and not always taken the time in working out the deal that is best for either client or the buyer. So
So
it
your
really is
best advice is take it to the lawyer first before you sign the contract, for sure.
absolutely. And that is the message that I really want to start sharing, is your lawyer needs to start giving you legal advice. They went to law school for 4 years to be able to give you legal advice. They had to write a bar exam to pass to be able to be a licensed lawyer in the state or province that you're in. So rely on the lawyer that has much more skill and understanding of all the laws, and not just a quick paycheck at the end of the day.
Right. Because the buyer realtor isn't working for the seller at all. They're working for that buyer. So they're going to put in every which way clauses in the contract for the buyer, right? And you know, if the seller doesn't catch that because they haven't used a lawyer, then and they sign it, well, then tough luck.
There is actually there's also, I just got an email notice that, so in Ontario, and I know your listeners are sort of across Canada and into the States, but in Ontario, our real estate legislation is going to be changed actually as of beginning of December 1st. And in the current legislation, there was actually a practice that as a brokerage, they could either offer services to a client or as a consumer, or as a consumer. With a client, there was some obligation that they had to protect their client's interests. With a consumer, it was basically a little more flexible, that they would provide a service, but not have the same protection of as a client. And now with the new changes that are coming in, it's basically the legislation is saying that you either have to be a client or actually no legal protection at all, and the brokerage doesn't provide anything. And actually, I think as I was reading it, I was really starting to see that, you know what, with this change, it actually might be a great opportunity for DIYoffer, because it is going to say, if I can't get any legal advice from a brokerage, I am going to my lawyer to be able to get legal advice. So this is coming as of beginning of December in Ontario.
The other thing we haven't mentioned is that not only is the owner's home listed on your platform, but the owner can also put it on the MLS service in Ontario by
Yeah.
themselves, even though they aren't a realtor.
Yes, so that has been in place, I believe, almost for 10 years now. And in Ontario, it's actually called a mere listing, which means that only the property description and the price and pictures is posted on MLS, but you have absolutely no other services from the brokerage. And so you are able to post it on MLS, but you still have to work out your own negotiating and terms. And again, that's a great option for added exposure and still negotiate the deal on DIYoffer.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So one of the roles of a listing agent is to find the listing price, give the comps and suggest the listing price. So without an agent, how do you go about that? And how does your platform help you with that?
So I know for people in Ontario or Canada, actually, it is a relatively new thing that we have a website actually called House Sigma. And it is, you can go to House Sigma and you can actually, you have to have an account. This is it's a free service, but you still have to be create an account to be able to see this type of information. But you can actually go on House Sigma, put in your address, and it will give you a scale of the properties in your area and what is the lowest, mid, and high point of properties that have sold in your area. And unfortunately, House Sigma is only available for Ontario, BC, and Alberta. And I believe they probably do have plans to expand across Canada. In the States, everyone is familiar with Zillow. All of that information is on Zillow. You can get all of that information without, I don't even know. So it's very accessible in the States. And if you truly, if you want something even more specific for you and your property, the other alternative is you could hire a licensed property appraiser to come to your house, and the cost is, it varies depending on the property. So if you are a detached house on a city lot with no additional outbuildings, you could be paying anywhere from $300 to $400 ish to have an appraisal done of determining your listing price. And there's a couple key pieces of information. Is the first thing is this property appraiser is actually a third party, non-biased party that is removed from the transaction. They are paid by you as the seller, not contingent on the sale of your property. So their value report is very true. You know that report is gold. If any buyer comes and is undervaluing your property, you can take that report and you can actually say, this report, which was as of a month ago, valued the property at 1.2 million, and your offer at 900,000 isn't going to cut it. So I'm not going to accept your offer, but I'm going to stay with this property report that says the property is valued at 1.2 million. So I actually I highly recommend spending that money. and if you have a bigger properties, for example, if you have half an acre with a detached house and several outbuildings, the cost will be more. But if you're willing to put a little bit of money out up front, in the long run, you will actually be able to save more in the commission fees.
So what are the benefits of your service? I mean, some of them pop right out. Obviously, you're going to save the real estate commission, but you do have some costs yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you have to pay for your own home staging, which a realtor often will throw in as part of their commission, right?
True.
So you've got the home staging part, the cleanup you would have regardless, so we won't count
Yes.
that. You've got the property
Appraisal.
assessor,
Yes.
but a lawyer is going to cost you whether you use a realtor or not. You still need lawyer advice.
Yes.
So that's a wash too. So
Yes.
is the main benefit the saving on the real estate commission, which is can be what anywhere from what 1 to 5%?
So actually, I get even a little more granular than that. So yeah, so in Ontario, the commission fee structure is usually between 4 to 5%, and that amount is actually split between the listing agent and the buying agent. And as the seller, you pay that full 5% or 4%. So if you have a $1 million house, it is $50,000 at 5%. So if
And that's whether your house has been on the market 1 day or 1 month or 3 months.
yes,
It doesn't matter,
yes,
right?
yes,
Whatever the listing time is, if it's a 90-day
exactly.
listing.
So with our platform, actually, the primary benefit is actually not only removing that half of the cost of the listing agent, but with the platform, we've also built in a tool for the buyer to understand the implication of the commission fees for their buying agent. So if their buying agent has a commission fee split of say 2.5%, that's $25,000. So the buyer is aware of that $25,000, and they can also adjust their offer to accommodate, to contribute towards any additional costs that their agent is coming in. So you know what, even if that buyer would throw in 0.5 of a percent, that would almost cover any additional costs that you would have to put out to get the house prepared, listed, have the property appraisal done. You're offsetting it by what just that little bit of what that extra what the buyer is willing to put towards the agent fees for the buyer. I think that is where the benefit is. Being able to see all the offers on a digital platform, being able to review them and see them, being able to see them as apples to apples, because sometimes as a buying agent, they may be willing to lower their commission fees to really help entice the offer to go through. So as a seller, you can negotiate and see all the offers and be able to compare all offers in a very high level on a dashboard that you can quickly review everything on one easy step and really understand the implications of where the agent fees are and what truly is the best offer, and move forward with the best offer for you.
So is the buyer responsible for paying their own realtor's 2.5 commission?
So that is a complicated question. So there's actually a class action lawsuit open in Ontario, and actually there's a class action lawsuit in Canada, as well as a class action lawsuit in the States. And it is basically because as a home seller, you have been forced to pay the full commission fees for both the selling and the listing and the buying agent fees. So there have been enough pushback now that they are moving, fighting this and moving it. Actually, it was, I believe, of March of this year, a federal court judge in Chicago actually ruled that the class action lawsuit has the go-ahead, and it is actually valued at a $13 billion claim against real estate associations down in the States. The class action lawsuit in Canada, it has not been given that go-ahead light yet. They're still accepting claimants that if you ever sold a house in through Toronto or the Toronto Real Estate Board, you could potentially be included on that class action lawsuit. So if anybody wants more information, I'd love to share information, and I can give you all the information. I can give you the name of the lawyer that you can contact. I don't have it all accessible right now, but we'll give you all that contact information at the end. But so to answer your question, currently sellers pay the fees, but there is some movement that they're fighting that. If a seller is not willing to pay that commission fees, it could rely or be forced to that the buyer would need to pay for it.
So generally it's the seller that pays the buyer's realtor portion, which is
Correct.
only half of what they do. If they save half, if it's a 5% commission,
Yes.
split 50-50, they do save a lot. They save 25,000, and that there's nowhere near the cost of using a lawyer and whatever other things you need to get the sale put through. So that's amazing. Yes. So currently this is in beta testing in Ontario, and eventually, what are your plans?
So we want to definitely open it up. We're opening it up across Canada and into the States. So hopefully by next year we can roll it out across Canada, and probably the following year roll it into the States. So we still have a little bit more development to go. With the directory, we also want to expand that and basically open it up for every city, major city, urban center in Canada and the States.
So if somebody wants to be added to your directory, say a home stager, how would they go about that?
So that is a very easy thing to do. So they can go to the website. It's DIYoffer.ca. If you are a business in Ontario, there is at the very top of the website, there's a little button that says service directory. You can click on that. And then there's even a little tiny button that says submit my business. And you can enter all your business details. You can enter all of your social platforms that you're on, your email, website, telephone number, address.
And your trading area.
And correct. So all of the actually, so let's, for example, so let's say you're a business in Mississauga, and you service pretty much the GTA up to Hamilton. So you can list your address as your primary city of Mississauga, but then you can add all the other additional cities that you're willing to travel to. So you can say Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville, Etobicoke, Scarborough, North York, all of Brampton, all of the cities around, so that you can really understand and make impact of how much audiences are going to see your business.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, Connie, and now I totally understand your service, and I think that's an amazing platform for people to consider. And I'm sure the young people are the ones that are really going to take advantage of this. Those that are a little bit more familiar with technology and online, banking and all the other stuff that you can do online, they're the ones that want to save money and do things in a different way than the traditional way. So it's a really good service for them. And I understand you have a special offer because you're in the beta testing state. So if you could explain what that offer is, that would be fantastic.
Sure. So if you are looking to sell in and the property is located in Ontario, we would love to swap. So we are willing to offer our service for a testimony and some feedback. So we will list the property and you get to use the platform. We'll guide you through the whole process. If you need assistance with choosing a lawyer, we have some lawyers we can help you with, but basically we want to guide you through everything. We want you to be successful so that you can give some feedback, give a testimony, and tell your friends and family how easy it was to really do a DIY sale. So that is the offer. If anybody wants to contact me directly, you can email me. It is Connie at DIYoffer.ca. Very simple, easy. You can also give us a call. The phone number's on the website, but it is you can call or text. So if you don't want to call, text us and we can still help you. The number's on the website too. So it's DIYoffer.ca.
Well, thank you so much, Connie. That's a fantastic conversation, and we'll have those connections on our blog posts and on our YouTube description. So I appreciate you explaining it all to us, how it works and how simple it is when you think about it. And with a little bit of work on your own, you know, you can save like a lot of money. Like
Yes.
an average property today in the GTA is going for at least $1 million. So you're saving yourself at 25,000 that you can put towards your next whatever you want to do.
Yep. The commission fees for the value is definitely, I think people need to be able to know that there are other alternatives than just automatically going and bringing in a realtor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks again, Connie, for your time, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank you.